The killings in Kaduna may be more grievous than we think. It's sad as somber-looking Governor Nasir el-Rufai reeled out gloomy details of the spate of insecurity that has held Kaduna State by the jugular. Receiving reports of the security challenges facing the state, compiled by the Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Aruwan, the governor said Kaduna lost 1,192 residents to bandits. Check out that figure. To bandit attack across the state in 2021, while 3,348 citizens were kidnapped. The figure represents an average of 3 residents daily. Let's share the story with you.
Security in Kaduna State is yet to abate, despite sustained offensive campaigns by federal security agencies with support from the state government. Kaduna government officials, together with senior security operatives, gathered to deliberate on solutions to this situation. A security report for the year 2021 revealed that at least 1,192 persons were killed and several others injured due to banditry and other violent crimes. 3,348 people were kidnapped, 45 others raped, with 29 of them reportedly minors. Kaduna Central Senatorial Zone was the worst hit.
We also observed in 2021 that there's a growing interaction between bandits and terrorist groups like Boko Haram, ISWAP, and Ansaru. And it has manifested recently.
The spate of insecurity in 2021 threatened education and social cohesion and led to attack on health facilities. It also brought an imminent collapse of the rural economy, and food insecurity looms. This report is a bitter pill for the governor, who has supported efforts by the federal security agencies to wipe out bandits. He is calling on the federal government to establish a military theater command in the state, just as was done in the northeast.
The creation of such a theater command will enable a holistic approach to counter-insurgent operations across the 6 affected states, and the enhanced coordination of the resources of the armed forces, the Nigerian Air Force, the Nigerian Army, and the Navy, as well as the police, the SSS, our respective state vigilance services, hunters, and other local volunteers to fight these insurgents.
The officials say deliberate malicious media campaigns, selective condemnation of attacks, and manipulation of faith as a tool of division has done so much harm to the state.
We are strengthening the human intelligence gathering networks in critical areas. Ground and air assault have been intensified by the military, that is the Air Force, in locations spanning Birnungwari, Igabi, Giwa, Chukun, Kajuru, and Zaria LGAs. Scores of bandits have been neutralized so far, and many camps destroyed via air interdictions. This will continue with renewed intensity following the recent designation of bandits as terrorists.
Security officials are calling on residents in the state to desist from taking up arms and laws into their hands, as it will only make matters worse. Lupe Asom, TVC News, Kaduna.
It's very, very alarming.
It is.
The statistics, the figures rolled out in Kaduna State,
It's
not looking as if.
I even commend the Kaduna people for their transparency, for taking the pains to track these killings, this level of kidnapping. If Zamfara were to do its own, because Zamfara is now officially dubbed the most unsafe state in our country. So if Zamfara were to do its own, so these figures we are seeing will be a child's play. If Niger were to do its own, we will be startled.
Katsina.
And Katsina too. But Kaduna is methodically doing this so that they can know the flashpoints, they can know areas that they need to concentrate on and all that. These figures are, they send clear signals to us, because this level of fatality, they are telling us now that it is 27.21% increase over last year, over 2020. So is security improving? Because statistics will clearly point the truth to you.
That's contrary to what some people want us to make us believe, that
things are
getting
improving.
better.
No,
so
for these statistics with 891 injured, when they tell you the number of the injured. Among the injured, some will die.
Yes, eventually.
So 27.21% increase over the previous year. That should tell you that we are not improving in terms of security, and that should actually ring alarm bells. 50 kids. I mean, it's startling. Just yesterday, Azango Kataf and Kagoro, these people launched attack and killed 29 persons at Krume Masara. So that's not part of these figures that we are dealing with. And they kidnapped 32 persons in Kajuru. Although the youths attacked them and rescued those kidnapped, but one person was left unrescued. These wicked people now set that person ablaze, burnt the person to ashes.
You can imagine what it's like, Sam, if 1,192 residents, were lost to bandits attack across the states, just Kaduna State in 2021. 1,000.
We've just noted that such grim figure, you don't even find it in some war-torn territories. That's how bad it is. Some countries that are currently experiencing war don't have this kind of bad figures.
No.
That is being shared.
No. Not Somalia, not Syria.
Do you understand?
Not Afghanistan.
It's terrible. And I'd like to join, Jide, to commend the level of transparency, that the Kaduna State government, exhibiting. And I think that if the government is serious, there's enough credible intelligence out there to rely on in terms of its war against banditry and terrorism. So when these figures are shared, it's not just meant for public consumption. We're asking ourselves, what are the security agencies doing with these figures? Not just in Kaduna State, but across the entire Northwest. And even the governor has called for, establishment of a theater command. It just tells you that this is no longer a case of, intermittent attacks on the people of Kaduna State. That this is full-fledged war.
Yes.
That's what the governor is saying in essence.
The level of the threat is like that of Northeast.
Yeah.
In terms of killings now, it's worse than Northeast.
So it's again, we ask ourselves, what is the government at the center doing with this? El-rufai had just simply told us that he's helpless, as it were. That all he could do in the face of this crisis is just to tell us, look, this is what my state is going through. He doesn't have the ultimate power to go out and contain this challenge. So it's up to the authorities that are firmly in control of the military to deal with this matter. It's gone beyond, we already branded them terrorists, as it were. So it's no longer a case of bandits. In fact, the governor used the word insurgency. I quote him. Said the level of insurgency has become so unbearable that the government needs to establish a theater command. So this is full-fledged war. Let's not pretend anymore. The facts, the figures are very disturbing. Remember, the man in Zamfara once told us that the number of bandits in his own state were over 30,000.
I have Elder Dari from Kaduna State. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good evening, Baba Bide and your colleague there.
Good evening.
You see, Kaduna is supposed to be the most secure state in this country.
Yes.
Why? Because we have areas of military formations in Kaduna. The Nigerian Defense Academy, the Air Force Base, the Nigerian Depot, Army School of Artillery in Kachia, and all was not.
NMS.
But yet, Kaduna is bedeviled with insecurity. Please, let's tell ourselves the truth. I don't believe the government saying they need a theater formation for this security issues to be resolved.
No.
If there is synergy among the military and the political elite, these guys are not beyond what our gallant men and women can deal with. But it's like they are playing the ostrich, like Babajide will always say. If there is this political will, these guys are they spirits? They collect ransom, they collect machine, motorcycle.
Yes.
And yet, what are we talking about? There should be synergy among the security personnel and the vigilante and the volunteers. I think these things will be dealt with once and for all. It's rather disheartening. The number that the government will reel out the number of people that were killed, and the government will not tell us what they are doing to stem the tide of this killing. Come on. Something needs to be done, and it needs to be done urgently.
Julie, maybe, thank you. Julie, maybe we're used to, it's now becoming like a norm. In some countries, if this kind of statistic is read out,
10 persons is enough to bring down a government.
Absolutely.
Prime Minister, everybody, they will resign.
We always remember this incident in Belgium during the European Cup match involving Liverpool and Juventus, where fans died in the stadium. It led to the fall of the government. A football match. The government had to leave at the end of the day. Look at all the noise generated by the killing of just about, I think about 8 to 10 persons in France.
In France, that time.
World leaders were holding hands. They were going there, you know, and it became something really global.
We are backing ourselves safe.
Even Nigerians were sharing their flag. They were sharing their flag. They were solidarizing with them, sharing the flag of France, and saying we stand with France. Whereas in your own country, on a given day, hypocritical Nigerians, they are not solidarizing with their own people who are dying. So that's to tell you the contrasts in terms of how we value human life. Elsewhere, 10 people killed by terrorists in one day cannot be tolerated.
No.
Now in our country, it's getting to the point that if people are not up to 40 that are dead, it is not even the front page. You talk somewhere, because we have already gotten used to it, to people dying like fowl. It has become to us like breathing in and breathing out. I mean, that is not, it's not ideal. It's unacceptable. Things have to change. How can we have, just as the elder Ibrahim just said, Kaduna has a huge number of military formations.
Everything.
One div is the #1 military formation in our country. It's there in Kaduna. NMS is there. Even the Emir of Zaria said so, that how come we are not secure with all these military bases? The Emir of Zaria was angry. How come with all this we are not secure? So the governor is calling for a fresh theater command. With all of those military bases again?
Sam, I don't know. If we continue like this, I know that the governor, to a large extent, is incapacitated with the formation in Nigeria. I know this will not just go back to the federal government, that we can't continue to watch people die this way. And any government, this government seems to be helpless.
Yeah, it's, we've talked about political will, but I'd like to add that not just the ordinary citizens that are restless. Some of us also have contacts within the military. Even within the military, I can tell you with every sense of responsibility that there's also restlessness. I must take it very serious. I know I'm before national television. There's restlessness. And that is because there are serious complaints about numbers. There are serious complaints about fighting machines. I can tell you that in confidence. So the government needs to sit up and do the right thing. Have to take it very serious. We've got to have the political will to deal with this. And this concern has been voiced by even very senior officers that some of us relate with. The political will. Sometimes they have the readiness they want to do, and they're told, don't take it this far. We've had such challenges, and I say this with every sense of of responsibility. So our government needs to understand that the level of restlessness that we are seeing across most parts of the country, our soldiers who have done so very well, even within the limited, arms and equipment at their disposal, are also getting very worried that this challenge, this security challenge, is dragging for too long. We are talking about over 10 years. So for how long more? Are we to believe that the prediction made by the former Army Chief, Brate, that this war will last for 20 years? We don't have that patience. In the next 10 years, this country, if we continue this way, probably wouldn't exist anymore. Some of us have argued that we are beginning to manifest signs of a failed state. If not as a country, but some states. I mean, we already said that Zamfara is the center of it all.
Going into the bush to negotiate with bandits.
Do you understand?
Because government
is not there. And we just take it as one of those things. I mean, I recall what Jide said earlier. We just take it. I mean, this number is not what should make the front page. Yes. So life has become near worthless. No country can exist for much longer if we don't nip this problem and deal with it.
No, if we don't deal decisively with it, it will get worse. And when it gets worse, we will have no country. It's as simple as that. People can laugh at what's going on, look at us and say, see, they come, doomsday prophets. But we don't want that to happen to our country, because some of us have chosen to remain here. We didn't go to Canada. This is our country, and we want a better country, a country that is secure. We cannot reflate our economy when foreign direct investment is shrinking. Look at the figures for last year. It's the lowest in our most recent history.
Right. In
terms of foreign direct investment. Who will come and invest in
environment
in an atmosphere of uncertainty where even you could be kidnapped? The governor of Taraba was telling me they are constructing a road leading up to the fringes of the Mambila, the dam. The terrain is better than that single road that goes to Mambila. So they are constructing a road, through Abom, through Mararaba and others. And the white people who were constructing the road, these guys came, took them away. And they said for months they were in their hands. That they had to negotiate until they brought big money before they released those white people. So that in itself caused the project to stop. So people will look at a governor and say, all this while they've been on this road, they are still not completed. When for about 6 months, they took away the contractor. So how do we just need to do much better in terms of protecting our people. We need to do much better. The way we are, if the strategy is not good enough, because we can see the end product suggests that the strategy is not good enough, why don't we tweak the strategy? And if we need help, let's ask for help and solve this problem. People can't be dying now and we'll be behaving like no, nothing has happened.
But Mr. President keeps saying that history will vindicate him, that what he will be remembered for when he leaves office. You've seen that. I think people are not feeding him with the right information. I don't know, maybe Mr. President has the number of figures, the total cumulative figure of the people, the number of people that are attacked by bandits and they die every time in the northeast. In the northwest.
We can only imagine. There's a lot of deceit going on, and I mean, you and I know how, people around Mr. President, operate. Most government houses, a lot of hangers on people who would say the truth because they want to get, some kind of favor and all that. But I'll be shocked, knowing the kind of character that we have as president, that he wouldn't want to avail himself with the right figures. I mean, a former general.
I'm sure he has information.
He has information to deal with it. It's the political will that we're talking about. And most of us are convinced that what is lacking is the political will to contain this challenge. If and when we resolve to do that, we will make quick progress. I'm convinced.